Reebok first released the Reebok Nano 7 CrossFit shoe in early January 2017, and the response to it from the public was lukewarm. The sole was extremely stiff, the shoe was very narrow, and the Nano 7 cage was very uncomfortable. But don't get me wrong, the stiff midsole made for a great weightlifting shoe, but due to the uncomfortable upper, it wasn't my go-to shoe. Now 6 months later, Reebok has revised the upper and has released their new Reebok CrossFit Nano 7 Weave. So can Reebok save face with their Nano 7 Weave, or is their Nano 7 still inferior to their previous model, the Nano 6.0? Let's find out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So, unlike Nike, which has their Nike Metcon 3 and the Nike Metcon 3 DSX Flyknit, which is a slightly more expensive and retooled version of their base Metcon 3, the Reebok Nano 7 Weave is flat out replacing the previous Nano 7. The Reebok Nano 7 Weave currently retails for the same $130 the original Nano 7 retailed for when it first came out. There's currently 3 colorways and expect more to drop in the coming weeks. Reebok is also trying to get rid of their original Nano 7 with a fire sale and offering them for $79.99. So once they're gone, they're gone. Unless you know for a fact the OG Nano 7 are going to fit you properly, you have a narrow foot, and you're not going to be running them too much, I wouldn't buy them. But if you're interested in the Reebok Nano 7 Weave, I'll have links in the description below so you can pick them up. And I'll keep them updated the best I can so you can get the best deals possible. Comment below and let me know which colorway you like best of the Reebok Nano 7 Weave. Okay, so let's talk about the upper because it is the biggest change in the Reebok Nano 7 Weave. There's still 2 layers. There's the mesh upper that allows for a lot of breathability, and then there's the Nano Weave upper, which holds your foot in place and makes the shoe fairly durable. The Nano Weave is made out of thin plastic fibers, but the difference between the Nano 7 and the Nano 7 Weave is that the thick fibers now go horizontally and the thin fibers now go vertically. Also, the Nano Weave is now seamless, which gives the shoe a much more simple and elegant look compared to the last Nano 7. The mesh portion of the upper is also slightly thinner than the mesh on the outgoing shoe, which make the Nano 7 Weave a little more breathable. I also noticed the delta on the Nano 7 Weave is now reflective, whereas the first Nano is not. Another added bonus that I noticed is that there is a little bit more padding in the tongue and heel counter area. And finally, I noticed the grip tape on the medial portion of the shoe is now a little thinner and sadly doesn't have the same amount of bite as the grip tape on the outgoing Nano 7. Concerning fit, I did notice the toe box was a little wider, not as wide as the Reebok CrossFit Speed TR, and the midfoot was a little wider as well, which was my biggest issue with the OG Nano 7. So you'll be fine going true to size with the Reebok Nano 7 Weave. The new Nano 7 Weave is still using the same sole as the OG Nano 7. It still has the same track pattern on the outsole and the heel counter is still the same. But I did notice it was slightly thinner so you do feel a little lower to the ground, which personally I like. I also noticed the midsole wasn't as stiff, so the shoe was a little more flexible in the forefoot area. But the shoe is still stiff enough, which means you get a lot of stability in the hindfoot area, aka your heel, which is still great for heavy squats. So those are the major differences I've noticed between the OG Reebok Nano 7 and the updated Nano 7 Weave. For those looking for a general and performance review, well, since the Reebok Nano 7 Weave has a slightly different rope guard on the medial portion of the shoe, traction is not as good as the OG Nano 7, but it still gets the job done. Unfortunately, the Rope Pro on the Nano 7 Weave is still tiny, so rope climbing is still a little difficult nonetheless. The traction pattern of the shoe still gives you a whole lot of grip when you're pushing off of your forefoot, so it's great for sprints and sled pushes, and in general the compound of the outsole is still very sticky. But keep in mind, the sole is still a little too stiff to run or sprint in these shoes comfortably for an extended period of time. But the shoe still has absolutely no heel slippage, unlike the Nike Metcon 3, which is good. I'm really glad Reebok was able to realize their original Nano 7 was not the best, and they listened to feedback from the community and released their new Nano 7 Weave. It's a step in the right direction. The shoes fit and look better, the sole is slightly thinner so you feel lower to the ground, and the Nano 7 Weave is just ever so slightly more flexible. But even with the new upper, the Nano 7 Weave is still better suited for weightlifting or circuits that don't involve too much running or sprinting. The heel on the shoe is still very stiff, so if you're a heel striker, running in these shoes isn't the best. And even so, the stiff sole doesn't do a great job of dispersing all of that energy when you're running, so it goes straight to your shins. At least, that's what I've noticed. Or maybe I've just been spoiled from wearing so much boost. Regardless, CrossFit shoes have a very hard job to do. They have to be stable enough to support you when you're lifting heavy weight, but they need to be cushioned enough to dissipate all of that energy when you're running or sprinting. Nonetheless, the Reebok Nano 7 Weave is still better suited for weightlifting. The updated Nano Weave upper means a much more comfortable fit right out of the box. The toe box and mid-foot area are slightly wider and you'll be fine going true to size. If you already have the original Reebok Nano 7 and they fit you well, there's no need to upgrade to the Reebok Nano 7 Weave. But if you're still deciding between the Nike Metcon 3 and the Reebok Nano 7, check out the Versus video linked in the description below. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It helps out more than you realize. For more product reviews and deal alerts, check out gymcaddy.net. If you want to support the channel, pick up a shirt, and I'll catch you next time.